Hey guys, hope you're doing well out there. I thought for today I'd switch gears a little bit and move away from some of the darker, more sinister trailer vibes that I've been talking about lately. And yeah, I feel like it's great as a composer to be able to explore different genres and styles. And I think that my ears get fatigued sometimes from hearing the same sounds and mixes all the time. So it's great to be able to pivot towards something more relaxing, more ambient. So today I'd like to explore writing a cinematic, intriguing documentary cue. Now, this is a type of music that actually sells quite well online. I've had pretty consistent sales with these types of tracks, and the best part is that they're really easy to make and they're easy to mix as well. I should really be writing more of this stuff because it's fun. Obviously, it goes without saying that there's a million different types of documentaries out there that each require their own different type of music to complement them properly. But for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna hone in on a sort of a typical introspective, maybe like slightly emotional vibe. So if you're new to this channel, please don't hesitate to download my free sample pack. I'll put the link in the description below. And if you'd like to download the MIDI and the loops for this track, as well as an in-depth mix tutorial, you can access that as well as other sample packs and other mix tutorials through my Patreon page. I'd love to have your support there, and there's lots of great content on the way. So I also like to just give a big shout out to my YouTube subscribers. It's really been fun to watch this channel grow, and I really appreciate all the kind words that you guys have left in the comments. You've inspired me, and I'm hoping to continue to grow as a producer and continue to inspire you as well. And I know I'm really glad that some of these tutorials have been helpful to some of you. And yeah, it's great to give back to the community here on YouTube. So yeah, without any further ado, let's jump into this track. All right, let's build this up. So I've got a bunch of great loops here to pull from, as well as MIDI. I have a few patches already loaded up here. I've got a few of my favorite ambient piano instruments that I use frequently. One of them being Output Signal Library. They have a great piano patch in there. All sorts of great stuff in there, actually. I have a Spitfire patch here, the Stratus, which they just released. Sounds great. Atmosphere patch. Sounds awesome, and a few other things. So yeah, the great thing about this pack is that it can be manipulated in any which way you want. You can change the MIDI, you can add your own melodies to this, remix it creatively. The idea is that it can be your backdrop canvas. I just want to give you the building blocks here to help you better understand the core elements of the track and give you an example of how to use it effectively in a song structure that flows well. So let's take a listen to some of the stuff that we have in this pack here. So we got a rhythmic tonal folder here full of samples that are basically locked to 140 BPM and in the key of G sharp minor, I believe. Right, so these are great. I'm just going to pull some of this out. Start with this intro atmosphere, and let's look at our pads for a second and check this out. Perfect. So let's start with that, and we don't really know exactly how long our intro is going to be, so I'll just kind of, I don't know, let's loop these, and then I'll go back to my MIDI and we'll pull out these piano chords here, bring them into our signal piano channel. Turn these down a little bit. Maybe even a bit more. Cool. So let's just say that we'll have like a 2-bar lead in. So we'll start the progression there. So let's chop this up a little bit. Before I do that, I'm just going to copy paste this whole progression and leave it there for later. And let's go in here and let's say we'll just kind of have a little silence. Right here. And then maybe when this second part starts here, we'll bring in something else. Let's check those guitars out again. Yeah, so these guitars are actually meant to follow this entire progression here. So if we're bringing them in, then I'm going to have to line up the end, because this is the end of the progression, so I'm going to line up the end of this region and then cut it here. That should line up. There we go. And I'll bring those down a little bit. Okay, and let's say at bar 23 is where our progression is going to come back, and we'll maybe think about kicking a bunch of other rhythmic stuff in once this progression starts back up again. So I'll loop the end of this guitar bit up until that point. Maybe I'll just cut it here and say do that. We need some kind of rising element to happen here. So I'll bring in these pianos. And yeah, maybe I'll just I'll leave it at that for now. One thing that's bugging me is that these string drones, when the region ends here and the new one starts, I can hear a little bit of a little awkward pause there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this, double them up, and so there's a bit of overlap. See, that sounds right. Yeah, much better. There we go. Okay, I also have these same chords in a fixed length and velocity version. So if I look in the MIDI, then you'll see that these chords, fixed length, velocity, are the exact same here. So I'm just going to throw those into the Omnisphere patch. And they're really essentially the same. It's just a little bit easier to manage. Let's listen to that. Cool, so we'll get rid of this section as well. Maybe what we'll do is we'll introduce the kick. At that last chord in the intro. Okay, that's starting to sound cool. So I'm just going to double this up. And maybe what I'll do is volume automate the intro of these pianos so that it's rising up a little bit. Also throw this into our Stratus. See how that sounds. Okay, cool. I like that. These atmospheric elements, I'm going to cut them off once we start this new section. And I actually have a string drone locked to the same progression, so I'm going to bring that in. It sounds like this. So yeah, I'm going to bring that in to this same channel, and that's going to be a little bit louder. So what's this at? This is at minus 6.9 decibels. Oops. Bring that down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to say that this whole section is going to be twice this length. So I'm going to double that up. And these can overlap a little bit. Double these up. Cool. Let's introduce a few other rhythmic or percussive elements. So what else we got? Let's throw this bass in, actually. Throw this bass in once we reach this section at bar 23. That can come up a little. Those pianos might be a little bit too loud. You know, and these actually, this intro atmosphere could probably carry on. Let's just see how that sounds. Yeah, sure. Cool. What else we got in this percussive folder? So we've got these hi-hats. Let's bring some of these in halfway through. So maybe say they start here. I'm not sure how loud these are going to be. Nice. What else do we got? We have Oh, right, these toms. Sort of like cinematic toms. Those we can just start from the top of this section. Right, so let's do that. And we have one other thing in this percussive folder that I wanted to check out, this percussion here. Sort of like a tech vibe. And we'll bring that in halfway through as well. Okay, everything's starting to sound really interesting. I think we need a few like cymbals and embellishments to bring this to life. So what I'm going to do is pull some of these cymbals in here. So we have the long cymbal sweep and a long cymbal. I'm just going to pull both of these in. Cool. And let's check how these sound first. So that one's a bit longer. That one is short. So we'll start this one here, see how this sounds. Nice. And I'll double that coming out of the progression as well. Hopefully that works. And then halfway through, we'll take this longest cymbal sweep, and when we introduce all these new percussive elements, that'll sound cool. Nice. Okay, so I think when we come out of this, we'll have, what we'll do is have all these, or most of these elements continue to play, but we're going to just fade them out. Let's double these up, and we'll kill these all off abruptly, these percussive things. I'll have the percussion playing just on the signal piano. Yeah, so we'll start there. And I don't know, let's just kind of improvise here. Let's see how this sounds. Oops, something got messed up with my guitars here. Somehow these got moved down here. cool. So let's fade these out. Starting here. Some of them will end sooner, some of them a bit later. Just kind of guessing. So that kind of idea, you know? And yeah, before we finish this up, I'm going to add some extra little sprinkles on top. I got a few other patches here. So let's add a tambourine to this. Sounding good. Just going to quantize those and double it up. And last is our Celeste. So what we're going to just kind of add a like top end melody to this. Okay, not perfect. Quantize that and fix it up a little bit. Cool. All right, I'd say we're about done, essentially. So let's give the track a listen, and we'll bring up, maybe just adjust the compressor a little bit, and we'll give it a listen from start to finish. I feel that's pretty solid. So obviously it needs some fine tuning with the mix, which I'm going to do right now. And if you want to access that full mix session and grab this MIDI and these samples, then please feel free to do so. It's all available through my Patreon. I really hope this walkthrough has been helpful. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time.